Hey, it's Andre. Welcome back to the environment. On the bench for an unboxing is the OMP Hobby Bighorn 49-inch high wing Balsa plug and play plane. As I said with the Challenger, the Balsa plane, the Balsa plug and play plane that you want, have been asking for. So huge shout out to OMP and BuddyRC for making this happen. For the podcast listeners who really pushed on them to make sure they included us. Let's dive into this thing right away. Let's open up this box and go for it. So again, spec-wise, we're looking at a 49-inch wingspan. Got that right for this one. Length is 41 inches. CG is 58 to 66 millimeters off the wing, so we'll make sure we get that right. Again, it's going to go off a 3S 2200 to 3000. I'll probably keep it light and go off the 2200 3S. This is my China Line 70C, so it's got enough punch. There's a 40 amp ESC and a Sunny Sky X2820 1100 kV motor. So there we go. Looking forward to flying with this thing. Oh, here's the weight. Anywhere from 1365 to 1410 grams. So that's obviously depending on the battery and the setup. Again, this one is a plug and play, so that means it comes with all the equipment, including the Metal Gear servos that are on all the control surfaces, plus the flaps, and it's green. And what's really interesting is they have check both on the box in the front of it, as you can see, the STOL capabilities. So short takeoff and landing, and for anybody asking what that is, that means this thing can come in, touch down, and take off in extremely short distances. So that's all about flaps and just over. And that's one of the beautiful things about flying a high wing airplane. You can just get in there and have a ton of fun. And one of the fun, honestly, flying these kind of airplanes is just a simple joy. I think everybody needs a high wing trainer or high wing style aircraft in their fleet, because you can do it and fly it almost anywhere in any conditions. It'll handle the wind, it'll handle the winters and everything, and they're just a hoot. And if you get a good windy day, you can park this thing with the flaps down and just hover and just minimal throttle. I've done vertical takeoff and landings and everything with the wind just at the perfect conditions. So, all right, enough of me talking about how good this airplane. Let's get into this unboxing and see how good it looks. Again, it's a plug and play. Slow, dramatic box removal. Look at that. Look at that. It's green. It's green. It's green. It's green. I love the color scheme on this one. Again, like the Challenger, you get some pretty fun graphics and decals. I have got to sticker this thing up, but I'll wait till afterwards. And it is, again, individually packed parts with a lot of attention to detail to the control surfaces and everything. So I'm going to hustle through pulling everything out of the box and get through this unbuilding, and then obviously once I'm done assembling it up, the flight reviews will come lickety-split now. So landing gear, elevator section, you have a box here that contained the landing gear plus a bunch of the fittings and everything. Those look like servo fittings and some spare bits and pieces and everything, so we'll extract those real quick. One of the wings. Again, parts are anything that can make contact with other flight control surfaces and stuff like that have been taped and covered, so that's really nice to see. Again, the boxing job that they did is really nice. So the packages arrived. Obviously, they came overseas, and then they came out of the U.S. from BuddyRC, and it looked good. Okay, the big moment. I love that green. I love how that looks. That is pretty amazing. Here we go. Oh, baby. So it has got a I will have to cut this out just to get it open, so I'll do that in a second, but I can already tell it's got a nice cowl, nice spinner, top opening canopy and everything, and I don't think it's seen any kind of damage during shipping, which is fantastic news. All right, in the box you got your spar, your main wing spar, and another 12-inch by 6x5-inch prop, which is really good to see. Standard parts. So I think this has got the same power system actually as the as the Challenger, which is really good news. Bag with the accessories, so that's got all your control surfaces and everything, the links and some, looks like servo fittings and everything if you want to box those servos and do repairs. I'll do more. Again, the instruction manual is a downloadable PDF, so make sure you grab that from them before you start building. Oh, I love this green. This just pops. It's got a little smoked out canopy on the top, and oh, those are good little batteries. Is it taped? No, it is just got this good little magnets. Sorry. Oh, this is really nice. I like the little spinner and everything, and plastic cowl, finished covering. You've got a little hatch on the top. Again, like I said, really impressed with all the attention to detail when it came to putting these covers on, to make sure nothing got punctured during flight. I pulled off that, so I will have to get my iron out to readhere that. Just take your time extracting any of this stuff. Again, if you pull any of the film off or anything like this, you're covering, just a little bit of a iron heat with your iron, and that'll be fixed. Yeah, so I will literally just take that and hit that with a little bit of heat, and it'll be fine. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That is so nice. I love the tint. That's kind of like, you know, just that extra little touch. Looking inside this airplane right away, look at all that room. So the ESC is down in there. Again, that's a 40 amp ESC. You got that really nice cowl, and then tons of access on the top. I really like how they've done all these magnetic hatches. It just makes accessing everything really simple and fast. Again, really nice color scheme. I really, of all the three colors they had, the red, the blue, and the green was my absolute favorite. They have a nice sized aileron section, nice sized flap. Actually, the flaps are a little stepped out, a little bigger than the ailerons, so you can really, I've got a feeling I'll be able to really slow this thing down. And one thing about running it on a 3S with a nice big 12-inch prop is you should be able to get all that torque. And so that's why I kind of like the 70C 3S 2200s. I may try some of my 4000s, I guess. I don't actually have any 3S 3000s, so I will probably stick with the 22s just to keep it short, not short, but keep it light and punchy. You will need an 8-channel receiver for this one for sure, just to mix between your ailerons and your flaps and everything. I'm not sure, I didn't see any Y connectors, so you may need to supply that for yourself if that's what you want to do. Again, very similar to the Challenger. You just got your 2 servo leads in this case for the aileron and the flaps, and then a nice pin, which is really good if you're short on transport space. You can actually take this thing apart really quick. If you're going to make this thing for transport reasons, taking the wing off frequently, recommend a Y connector on both the aileron and the flaps, just to speed the whole process up when you're putting it in. Otherwise, dump them in, put them into individual channels, and just mix them in your radio as you require. You may want to go Y cable on the flaps, but if you have a decent enough radio, it's not a big deal. Really nice, clean covering job as well. It looks good. It looks really clean, really solid, well done. A lot of attention to detail, a lot of focus on the aesthetics and keeping everything clean and tidy. Especially with white, that's always hard because you get a lot of stuff on your hands and then you make it worse. Very nice, very clean. You'll need some CA, like the Challenger build, just a couple dabs of CA to lock that in, but obviously you put in your elevator section first, and last, landing gear. So landing gear features a nice aluminum brace. And these are 4-inch foam wheels. They're pretty stiff, so you may skid around a little bit on a tarmac, but on grass or gravel or anything, these should be fantastic. It is a slightly bigger airplane compared to the Challenger, so I'm playing around on the bench figuring out where to put stuff. I'm just going to do a dry fit for now. Get everything aligned and then ensure that it's copacetic. Okay. 32. Yep, that matches up nicely. There we go. Good. Yes. So I was using my T-square to make sure everything was nice and square. You could go from the top, but you're not going to get a really good alignment because obviously the rudder is tapered. So I went from underneath and I was getting consistent readings between left and right side. So I feel that my elevator is nice and stable. So I'm going to move on to the, I'm dropping everything around here. I'm going to move on to the rudder section, which is pretty simple. I'm going to do my dry fit, make sure I'm satisfied with that. And then I will have to read up and see what the connection is on the bottom over here with this guy, which I think is probably going to be very similar to what we saw with the Challenger, where we just drop in some screws and lock the tail gear and the rudder assembly together. Very nice. Actually, it's super simple. Yeah, that is very clean, very close to it. And underneath, it is literally one of the screws out of the screw pack, and you lock in. There's no interference between top and bottom, so I'm very satisfied with that. So that means we're going to pull this back just a touch, drop in some CA, and keep moving forward with the assembly on the Bighorn, which is going really fast. Again, these plug-and-play balsa planes are super easy, and it's really nice to see the workmanship that goes into creating something like this. So just a couple drops of CA. Oop. And then making a mess of stuff. Make sure you get your cloths around, and then drive these guys home and let that work in. I'm just making sure I don't have any interference here. I have a cloth just to pick up any of the runaway. I'm using a thin CA so it flows and it'll set up. Those are little CA hinges, and those are fantastic to use, particularly in balsa. There's the rudder section. I'm just going to keep moving these things around and just making sure I haven't got too much material in there. And the tail, you can see the tail section will go in really nicely, and after that it's just a matter of centering up all my servos, which again are nice Metal Gear servos. So there's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this airplane now at this point. So that's why you want a 7-channel or 8-channel receiver. I'll be flying mine off a 8-channel FR Sky. And the last one, no need to actually just go hand tight. There's no need to overdo any of those screws into the fuselage, because you'll just end up over torquing something and making your work harder for yourself. So what I'm going to do right now is I've got a piece of tape, put that bad boy on the jeans, and I'm just going to use that to help center this tail section up. So and I'm going to determine where I've got wood. I think there's wood through the whole thing. Great. All right, so I'm just going to put some tape down. This is going to hold the whole thing steady, and then I'm going to put my mark and be able to drill in quite nicely. All right, centered. That looks nice and aligned. Nice part with the tail gear is if there's any discrepancies, there is a grub screw set up so you can kind of move the gear around and give yourself a little bit of a change in direction, particularly too if you notice the plane is crabbing with the power in one direction while you're taking off. So I'll give you some options. Just a gentle little hole. Watch your tools though. You don't want to puncture any of your nice coating. Cool. No need to over tighten that one either. Pull that tape off. Now we have a functioning rudder section. Keep that moving. Check my hinges. Nothing is binding. Nothing is over tight. Nice. There we go. Oh, look at that elevator throw. Nice. Lots of throw on the rudder, but a ton of throw on the elevator. I like it. I like it a lot. For now, there you go. Okay, let's just see what this flap can do. Okay. I'm thinking we're going to be having some fun with the travel that you can do with these guys. I really love this color. The blue and the green and the white really do complement each other really nicely. It's the same wingspan as the Challenger at 49 inches. But it definitely feels like it's taking up a little bit more real estate on the bench while I'm working. As you're seeing, the assembly process really is not bad. It is a plug-and-play plane, so it's not meant to be a multi-day, multi-hour kind of operation to get going. So if you're hustling along, you can have this aircraft together pretty quickly. And if you're not breaking it down, it's even faster because, again, like I mentioned, you're not rerouting the control surfaces and the servos and wiring every single time you remove the receiver and the wings and everything. So dang, that's a really nice looking plane. I'm really excited about this one. The center, I love how much room there is inside this airplane. Oh, it's so fantastic. There you go. Let's see. There's my FR Sky receiver dumped inside the airplane. All right, whew, got it. Put that down, dump those antennas down in there. Okay. There you go. All right, the receiver is in there. I had to do some fine tuning. I was getting some weird results, but everything is there now. And what I really like and try and do without hitting the boom is just how much space, sorry, I hit the boom mic, how much space there is inside. Now it is a little bit tight in the opening to get your hand in there and work through all the servo wires, but it is doable. I did find the throttle servo wire and the tail gear wire a little short, so you have to really work in there, but I got the receiver in, and actually I'm about to disconnect the ESC to do a calibration on it, and then we can do the CG check and everything, put the prop on, and the Bighorn is almost done. I still have to go through and fiddle around and finite tune all the control surfaces, but we're almost there. So there is a spinner, so you do have to set that up and account for that when you put your prop into alignment. And I am going to be doing my CG check. Put the prop on. The CG on the Bighorn is anywhere from 58 millimeters to 66, 58 obviously being forward, and what I really like about the 58 millimeter line is the fact, let's see if I can do this, is from the leading edge, it is pretty well on that first spar. So that makes it super simple. I'm actually flying a 3S 2270C, and it's a little fat. So I've actually put it upside down because with the Velcro I was really having a lot of issues trying to get it in and out. But I've got the strap, so it's not going anywhere. And with the battery jammed all the way to the front and running with that more forward CG spot, I think I've got it bang on. I'm going to try and close the canopy here, which is nice and snug. There are some alignment tabs that you want to get. I think actually it's the strap that's in the way. Slide that in, nice and snug. Don't have to, with my finger. All right, and using that 58 millimeter spot, which is right on the spar, going just to the inside of the flap location, I would call that CG on. Wow. So that means if you go a little bit further back, if you start using a more back CG point, you're going to get nose heavy actually. There we go, talking. which is great. So if you start getting into more aerobatics and doing some more aggressive flying with this aircraft, you definitely can put it back. But having a 3S2200 jammed all the way to the firewall as far forward as possible gives you a really nice level aircraft right off the get-go. So that's pretty cool. So far, the only hiccup I've run into is I'm noticing the spinner is not clearing the prop, so I'm going to finesse that a little bit. What can't you say about this airplane? What's not to like? It is actually a really simple put together plug and play balsa setup. It does not take long to put those tail sections in and glue everything together and then set up the servos and everything. I just finished doing a quick little trim on the cowl just so it fits across the prop a little cleaner, and that's it. Like I said, with a 3S2200, that CG balances out really nicely. You've got tons and tons of authority and control on the surfaces. Set up your radio as per the manual and just enjoy it. My name is Andre, and this is the OMP Bighorn. Thanks for watching this assembly video. Stay tuned for the flight review. I'm super excited. Huge shout out to BuddyRC and OMP for making this happen. Thanks for watching.